it's Melissa. Happy Friday. We made it. Today we are going to do another fun little project. This is a really simple, straightforward, easy, it's actually a pretty good beginner project. And what we are going to do is put HTV, heat transfer vinyl, on some tea towels, okay? But we are not just going to do any little design. We are going to cut some HTV. It's just going to be text, and it is with one of my favorite fonts, okay? So here's the thing. This font is called, wait, what is the font called? It's called Simply Done Right, okay? Simply Done, D-O-N-E, Right, like W-R-I-T-E. And the reason that I decided to do this is because I have a lot of Ray Dunn mugs. As you can see, this might be my favorite. This might be the most true. I get up at like 5. This might be 100% accurate when it comes to what goes in here. These are well loved, you can see. Anyway, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make some kind of matchy tea towels. This is a super easy thing you can do for your own kitchen. You can do these as little gifts for a hostess gift or whatever. You can obviously customize them however you want once you have the font. That's the great thing, okay? So this font, Simply Done Right, is a farmhousey font. It comes as part of the So Fonty Farmhouse bundle, which is going on right now. But the font itself is $10, and I got you guys a 15% off the whole bundle, which brings the bundle to about $11.50. So if you want the entire bundle, I linked to it, and you can decide what you want to do, if you want it, if you don't, whatever. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I already created my designs in Silhouette Studio. I'm going to come to this side. I made 3 of them. One says hangry, because, well, hangry. The other says eat it or starve, because that's essentially my motto. If you don't like what we cook for dinner, well, make something else yourself. Or wait till tomorrow. And the third one says no whining, like wine. And then I have the N crossed out with a little slash through, okay? So all of them I literally just created with the font, and then I just put the slash through myself with using the draw a line tool and an offset. Okay, so we're gonna cut this on HTV and then we will apply them. So I have my sheet of, this is, I think it's just Caesar Easy Weed. I honestly don't know. I just pulled this scrap piece out of my drawer. So it's not super sticking on my mat, so I'm gonna use a little bit of washi tape and just hold it on there. The thing is, if you have to tape your HTV, the reason I'm even using a mat is because, as you can, I think, see probably, this is an odd shape. And so because I need to cut in this section too, I can't cut without a mat right now. Or I would just put the whole thing into my CAMEO without a cutting mat altogether. That's on, oh shoot. Okay, well, we ran out of tape. So we're gonna put that piece up there, and I'm going to not have such a large piece down here. Okay, I want to put it on all the areas because I don't want it pulling. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so that should be pretty good. That's up there. All right, so we are going to load this in. Remember, you have on your CAMEO 4 all CAMEO 4 machines. The 12-inch, the 15, and the Pro all have this little matte sensor here. I don't know if you can see it. It's very, very small. It's a little square sensor right in front of the left roller. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to press the load button on the machine, and then you've got about 5 seconds to load in the mat with both hands, which will help you to load it straight so it doesn't start going crooked, okay? So you'll see if you press the load button, it'll flash. See how I already pressed it. Now I'm holding my mat. The load sensor senses that my mat is covering it, and that's how it knows to load it in. Super easy, way better than when you're holding it like this and trying to stretch your pinky, which possibly your pinky can reach on the 12-inch machine, but have you ever tried to do that with the 24-inch Pro? You're like, need to be Inspector Gadget, okay? It does not work. All right, so I have my designs all ready to go. So I'm going to send them to cut. Now the reason you're gonna see when I go to the send panel, the reason I have some up here and some down here is because I have this huge slice out of my cutting mat. Okay, I mean, not my cutting mat, of my piece of HTV. I'm using heat transfer vinyl as my material. The default force is a 4. I always increase it to 14, so just so you know. And for a font like this, where it's very thin, as you know, this font is very thin, I suggest, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to adjust the speed down to make it slow. The reason that you want to do that, and when I say slow, I'm going to put it down to a 3. The reason that you want to do this is because when you have a very narrow area, your blade is going up and basically coming back right in the same area. And when it goes too fast, that's when it can mess up your vinyl. Now that's specifically an issue. That's particularly, I should say, an issue with adhesive vinyl. But HTV, you still want to just take kind of a little precaution there. Okay. All right, so now we are going to send this to cut, and I'm going to click send as is, and it will cut, okay? So while we're waiting for that, I have my 2 towels here, so I'm going to pre-press them, okay? But you're going to ask me where these towels are from. All About Blanks, okay? If you're not familiar with All About Blanks, she has a million, and I'm not exaggerating, a million adorable, high-quality blanks. Like, this is perfect for Easter. They come in all different colors. I should show you how many of her, like, towels and stuff I have. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't know if you guys saw probably a year, maybe longer ago. They sent me this very enormous box of blanks. Oh my gosh, but it was awesome, and I've still been going through it, okay? All right, so I'm gonna pre-press these on my heat press. Let's move this over here so I'm not blocking you with my press, okay? This is just gonna get any moisture out of these towels. Now, I can actually do both of these at the same time because they're just small, okay? So we're just gonna press them like this. And let that go for 20 seconds or so. It'll get any wrinkles and any moisture out. And then when that's done, this should, well, like I said, we did put this on a little bit slower. So this is gonna take a little bit longer. Oops, okay. All right. Okay, so we're already here. Now I will just, when I press my towels, even though they are folded in thirds right now, I'm actually gonna flatten them out to just help when I'm pressing, okay? So put that there. Typically when I do tea towels like this, I know that I need a design that's about 5 inches, 5 to 5.5 inches, so that's about how wide these are. Hopefully it's not too wide. Okay, so we're gonna place it right here. Remember, this is the part you can't see. This section of the towel is the front, okay? So this is where we're going to do it. So everything else is gonna be folded or hung over the back. So you can decide where in here you wanna place your design. And actually, I'm completely wrong. If I do that, it's going to be in the wrong spot. On that towel, it doesn't matter, but this towel, we wanna make sure we do it on the right spot. It's Friday. And I haven't actually finished my cup of coffee yet. Okay, so as I was saying, you're gonna focus on this middle panel here, the one with the design, and we're gonna work right in here, all right? So once this is finished cutting, we are not going to take it completely off of out of the machine yet, okay? I like to do, as you guys probably know by now, I like to do a little weed on my cutting mat, okay? And that way I make sure that it has cut completely through. And if it hasn't, that allows me to send it back through to make sure it does cut completely through, okay? All right, so for those of you just joining, we are making some little tea towels to match, not match, but very similar farmhouse style as a lot of people's favorite mugs. The font that we are using is called Simply Done Right. It is part of the So Fancy SVG and font bundle that's going on right now. The bundle's $13.99. The font itself is $10, but I do have a 15% off coupon for you guys if you're interested in that to get the whole bundle till the end of today for, it's like $11. Okay, so you can decide. I think the coupon code is SSB, like as in Silhouette School Blog, Farm, SSB Farm, okay? All right, so let's see if this worked. I'm gonna pull you up here so you can see. So as you guys know, I did put weeding boxes around here. Now, what I want you to notice is how thin this this font is, and look how nicely it cut. Okay, so this is why I use, first of all, this is why I use weeding boxes, and secondly, this is why I put the force to 14. And as we talked about, because this is so thin, you can see how thin this is, I think. No, you can't. Okay, because it's so thin, this is why I slowed the speed. So since I know that that's going to work, I'm gonna pull the whole thing out of there. Now, weeding boxes do a couple of things. I talk about them all the time. If you have business edition or higher, you can add weeding lines automatically. I typically actually skip using them and use weeding boxes, especially on designs that are not like a full page. If it's a full page, then I will use the weeding lines. Okay, so we have that. Now, I'm not going to weed the bottom of this design yet because I'm going to show you what happens. And before I start weeding that, I'm going to actually cut this apart because I have some extra vinyl that I can save. And let me tell you, I don't get any complaints more than I get about how much vinyl I waste. Yikes! You guys are vinyl wasting shamers. Not all of you. Okay, so let's pull off the excess here. Now look, here's another trick. Do you see how this is pulling everything? Just clip it, and then you can go much, much quicker around. Now you can see these weeding boxes that I have created around my two designs, okay? So now when I'm trying to weed this, it's not going to be, I'm not going to be fighting with the full box or the full sheet of HTV. I'm only working with my one part of the design at a time, and that didn't cut through. So that shows me right there where I need to be real careful. Now, why does part of the design cut through and part does not? I'm going to tell you 100% why this didn't work. There's something on my mat right here. It's a piece of paper, and I can pretty much guarantee you that part of the vinyl, and I did not know this was going to happen, and I didn't make my guarantee knowing this, but I can tell you that this part of the vinyl, and I only have 2 towels, so I'm going to intentionally show you how this is messed up here in a second. When you have something on your cutting mat, do you see how the entire rest of the design is weeding just fine? Okay, and this one part here, watch, can you see this? It's pulling my letter. Can you see that, how it's pulling my letter? Okay, I want you to see, this is where this piece of vinyl was. This is the corner, it's lined up on the grid. Look here, in this exact spot where I'm having an issue, look, there's something on my mat. I don't know if you can see that, but that is why, because the pressure is different. When the blade went over, there's a bump here. It's like a speed bump, and that's why that didn't cut through, okay? So if you are experiencing the same type of problems, make sure your cutting mat is clean, and you can see that I've now ruined that part of the design, okay? Which is okay for me because I only have 2 designs and I was only I only have 2 tea towels, and this is a good example to show you why it's important that your mat be clean, okay? Now, I can also show you how we could fix that if we have a second, but let's see how the rest of these weed. Okay, so here's the one that I told you says no whining, and you'll be able to see when I pull out the counters. Look, I want you to look how thin this is. Look how small this letter I is. I can't even tell you how teeny tiny that is. And it works, it's weeding and it cut perfectly fine. The reason being the settings, okay? It is all about your settings. So I did start with the default settings of for HTV smooth, but then I adjusted based on my design. And of course, I always adjust the the force to 14, but I slowed the speed down to 2. Okay, so this no whining. Now, as we talked about, I used this just, obviously this slice is not part of the font. I added that and I welded it in. I used the Draw a Line tool in Silhouette Studio. And then I did a very small offset so that it would cut around it, and then I welded it. Okay, all right, so we've got that one. I'll leave that right there for a second. Now, what I want to show you over here is this. Okay, so we have 2 options here. I put a box around this part of my design. It says eat it or starve, but we have 2 options here. If depending on how we weed this, it will totally change the design, okay? And I did this intentionally. I can weed off that box and then or starve will look like this. Or what I can do, and this is what I'm gonna do just for this example, I can weed out the letters, okay? And when I do that, gotta be careful here, hopefully this, okay, do you see what's happening? So now it's all about how you weed, which is, I get so many questions. How do you cut a word out of a box? I hope you can see around my hands. It's not how you, it's all, I mean, you design it the exact same way, but what you're doing is you're weeding it differently, okay? So in this case, we're just removing the letters. This is so teeny tiny. All right, just be careful. This is where tweezers come in. I don't know where my tweezers are, but you can see how small this is. I mean, look how tiny and thin that is, and it's weeding just totally fine, okay? All right, now, so I have these 2, and I'm going to place them on my towels. To find the center of this design, I'm just going to fold it in half with the non-sticky sides together, okay? Because I don't want them to stick to each other, okay? Now I have a crease, so I know where the middle of my design is, and I can use that to help line up on the towel itself, okay? So let's do this. Now I know I'm going to eyeball this. You don't have to eyeball if you don't want. Okay, so we've got that one. And then my other design, or my other towel, excuse me, is under here. Okay, and I'm gonna put this one, same thing. Fold in half. I just do this very, very quickly. Little, so I'm not measuring. I don't measure things usually. And I'm gonna actually pull it down here. You can put it wherever you want, obviously, okay? All right, so now it's just going to be a matter of applying, sending these through, not sending them through the heat press, but you know what I mean, putting them on the heat press. I'm using a pressing pillow to give myself a little bit of extra pressure. I'm going to do one at a time here, just so I'm not competing with the seams. Where's my Teflon sheet? Okay, so this press, this 8-in-1 press, you need to hit the button to start the timer. So 20 seconds on this, okay? I'm getting alerts. See if I can move you any closer here where we can all still be up close and personal here. Okay, so this is it. And then we will do the same thing for this one, all right? Okay, up and away. All right, we'll move this over to the table, pull this one here, and cover this with Teflon. I'm gonna make sure the whole design is on there. Now, for the one that I messed up, I apologize, my back is to you. For the one that I messed up, this design here, I don't have to just completely throw this entire design out. What I would do is remove this A that was messed up, and then I would take a little scrap piece and just cut the A, okay? So you can do that. And what you could do is you can see the impression of the A cut on here. So once you do recut it, you can line it up using that, okay? So don't throw your whole design out. There's pretty much always a way to save it, okay? All right, so now we're done here. All right, put it back down here. Okay, and then we're just gonna remove, careful here, just gonna remove our transfer sheet. Okay, and same with this one. Okay, and we'll just refold our towels. These come nicely folded, so you know exactly what you're doing if you're not a good folder. Okay, and how adorable are these for your own kitchen, hello, or for holidays, or for a little quick gift, hostess gift, new homeowner gift. You could put Mr. and Mrs. on there if you're giving them to a newly, married couple or whatever you want to do. But these are, there we go. Okay, start to finish, little tea towels. You can see how this one that we did where I did not remove the weeding box, but instead remove the letters from it, how that looks. Okay, so you have a lot of different options. If you didn't want this, if you didn't want this option, all you would do is pull the box off and leave the letters themselves, okay? All right, you guys, I hope you learned a little something. We had some tips along the way. I'm actually kind of glad that word did not fully cut through, because then I was able to show you the reason why. So make sure your cutting mats are clean. If I'm gonna clean mine off here, the quickest and easiest way to do that, just get your scraper. Look, there's that thing that was on there. Okay, this is just, you're just getting any junk off there. Okay, look at all the stuff that's left on there. Okay, so that's a quick way to do that. Just, if you have anything on there, that's what's gonna happen. Okay, so if you're interested, again, in this font, go ahead and grab it. I would just get it with the whole bundle if you're interested in that. Make sure you use that coupon SSB Farm. It works 15% off until tonight at midnight Eastern. So the bundle will be available beyond that, but the extra coupon for Silhouette School is only till today, okay? All right, you guys, I hope you have a fabulous weekend and enjoy the rest of your Friday. See ya.